You're listening to the Banter Boys, brought to you by Sam Creer State Farm.
Swung on the line, down the left field line for a base hit. Here comes Joy. Here is Junior to third base. They're going to wave him in. The throw to the plate will be late. The Mariners are going to play for the American League Championship.
The two throws to Lillard. A three for the game.
Center field. Buxton going back, looking up. Goodbye baseball. Magic here at the corner of Edgar and Dave.
Black, a fly ball to left center field. Tyler Graham moving in. Graham is there. The Beavers are the national champions. He makes the catch.
Well, do it live. Do it live.
Don't talk to me, all right? Knock it off.
It is Tuesday, November 7th. Welcome into the Banter Table. You're listening to the Banter Boys, brought to you by Sam Creer State Farm, here on 90.3 FM and KSLC HD1 McMinnville. If you haven't already, please hit us up on Twitter and Instagram, Banter ____, 3 underscores, boys with a Z, and on YouTube, just the Banter Boys with a Z, for short highlights of each week. Everything banter related, boom, bang, bongo, right there. Got a special guest with me tonight, and Banter Boy Will.
In the house.
Former Linfield basketball coach, Larry Doty, a.k.a. the GOAT. Dotes, how are we doing tonight?
We are doing well. Happy to be here.
Good. I'm glad. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. That's what happens when you get busy and you're coaching. And,
Growing up.
I'm teaching classes and fishing and going to movies. It's tough.
But you're a Yankee fan.
Big time.
Huge.
Yes.
Huge
Yes.
Yankee fan. And so I got to come out with you right now. Joe Girardi is a fire fair.
Yeah. Well, life's not fair. So
Okay.
I don't know fair or not. You don't know the ins and outs. I saw his interview on ESPN where he said, don't know why I got fired.
Mm-hmm.
The tough thing about that firing is that the players, and they have a really good young team, they exceeded expectations.
Baby Bombers.
Baby Bombers. Nobody expected them to get the ALCS and to be competing.
Game 7.
Nobody.
They're nearly 3 outs away from a World Series.
Exactly.
From a pennant.
Exactly.
They overachieved.
Yep.
But also, I don't know if you've been reading what Cashman's been coming out with.
No, I haven't.
So Cashman did an interview, and I read it today, and he said that he feared that Joe Girardi had trouble connecting with players.
Interesting. Here's my thing. My thing is that young crew is now going to have to adjust to a new manager, a new pitching coach, a new hitting coach.
You think it sets him back?
Well, I don't know that it will, but my guess is that the learning curve is going to be bigger. Well, look how long it's taken the Portland Trail Blazers. They're still not back from when they fired Rick Adelman as coach.
Thoughts on Aaron Judge?
He's an unbelievable talent. I mean, wow. Some of the home runs, the dingers that he hit this year were off the chart.
2-2. Judge. 1. 3-2. Go on. He deals.
Charts. And, obviously, the first half of the season was different than the second half of the season, but he came back in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's baseball, though.
And that's baseball. That's percentages. Made an impact. Like, whenever I see, the guy's 0 for 28 in the playoffs so far, all that means to me is, like, he's going to get a hit because percentages are going to catch up with him.
Yeah.
Right? So, Aaron Judge is a tremendous talent. Watching it on television, you can learn so much, and I think that that's something that a lot of younger athletes need to do more of nowadays. You can learn a lot from watching television.
Oh, yeah,
You don't always agree with the commentators on stuff, but you get to see absolutely everything that happens. Pitch location, just at their swings, how they break it down. It is really an education to watch that, and for me it's fun. The downtime in between, they're talking a lot about shortening up the games and the need to do that, and the catchers going out like they did in the playoffs all the time to meet with them. And look, when you get to that particular level and you're playing that deep into the playoffs where every pitch really does matter, I don't blame those guys for doing it. Is it bad for baseball to make the games go longer? Well, who has the longest games, average time in games?
Look at college football.
Exactly.
Look at the NFL. I mean, college football games are ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
They take so long. I don't care because I'm a fan, and I'll sit my ass on the couch till 11 o'clock at night watching on a Saturday night. I don't care.
Right.
I'm not moving.
Right.
But, I mean, some people, for the casual fan, I can see it, but I don't give a rip. I don't care.
I think college football games are longer than NFL.
Yeah, they are. Oh, they definitely are. Definitely are. Because you got the commercial.
Yeah.
Well, I was in Pullman this weekend, and I went to the Stanford-Washington State game, and I'm sitting in the stands, and then I realized we haven't moved for 4 minutes, or it looked at maybe it was 2 or 3 minutes, but I was like, oh, we're on a TV timeout.
Mm-hmm.
After a punt. Or they go to fourth down,
Yep.
and then they punt, and then we have another TV timeout. So, your thoughts on baseball in general? Just watching. I don't know how much you watch in the regular season, but watching the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
What are your take backs for the game of baseball right now?
I love it. I mean, it is my favorite sport. As a basketball coach, as an athlete, I played the longest in football, but I love baseball the most. I just think that it's a great sport. The health of the game seems to be really good right now.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike in the NBA where, if you've got a big three here and a big three there and a big three here, that everybody else is kind of fighting for mediocrity. That doesn't seem to be the case in baseball. We've seen a lot of, just in the last decade, we've seen a lot of teams come from never having won a World Series. The Cubs, the Red Sox.
Yeah.
The Yankees have traditionally been in it, but even them, it's been tougher because everybody else has gotten better now. So I think I think the game is in good shape. I think it's been interesting what has happened with regard to African American players in the Major League Baseball versus Latino players versus white players, and how those demographics have changed a lot over the last 10, 15 years in baseball. They're still having conversations with that and trying to figure that out. We talked about that last year in Sport and American Society. It's kind of an interesting take on how things have changed in our country with regard to Major League Baseball. So I think that is going to continue to be kind of the norm, where there's going to be a lot of dominant players that come out of south of the border and from other countries. And
Oh yeah.
look
Well,
at Houston.
the Latin players will keep coming.
Yes, they will.
I mean, every Major League Baseball team has reinforced scouting and the DR and all that stuff.
Yep.
So they have facilities down there as well.
Right.
And I mean, it's the nicest thing in that country. And
let me ask you a question. Why is it that Latino players have been able to be so successful? I mean, yes, they have facilities. We've got facilities here in the United States.
They don't have an Xbox.
Yeah. I mean, it's a way to get out of the country. Mm-hmm. It's a way to make a name for yourself, get out of the country, and really do stuff. Yeah. I mean, every single one of those plays will transition into some NFL. A lot of stuff to talk about in the NFL nowadays. But one thing we haven't talked about here at the Banter table is we haven't talked about Colin Kaepernick too much. Now,
he could play for the Packers right now, I know that.
You are a Packers fan.
That's right.
But I'm just going to come out right here with it, come out hot with it. Should Cap have a job?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you think he's being blackballed?
Yes.
Why?
Well, because, stop and think about this. In fact, this thought came over my mind just today. I thought, watching that game last night, suffering through watching Green Bay play Detroit at home and lose, with a backup quarterback, Huntley, who played at UCLA. I love listening to John Gruden commentate a game and do the color commentating on the game, because he knows so much. He's been an NFL coach. He does the quarterback show. He just knows a lot about that position. I remember last night he said, you know what? He said the Packers are struggling moving the ball and getting first downs. He says they need to not be so predictable. They need to come out and throw on first down. That play, boom, throw on first down, and they got a drive going down the field and eventually scored. He also talked about how Huntley led some categories when he was at UCLA that you don't want to lead as a quarterback, like most sacks, most interceptions. And so they were talking about his tutelage into the game and that he just hasn't had very many reps as an NFL quarterback. I get that. Back to Kaepernick. Kaepernick has. He's played for a Super Bowl champion. He knows the game really well. He's an outstanding athlete. Does he have deficiencies? Probably. But I think here's the biggest thing is that I don't know that any of those teams at this particular point in time in history when our country is really divided politically, that they want to take on that big media blitz because it would be a huge distraction. So what's he going to do when he comes back? Is he going to take a knee? Is he going to sit down during the national anthem? I mean, just look how that issue right there has become completely politicized in our society.
Oh,